All right, welcome back, guys. So we are here with match 4, second game between and Jesse. Of course, this time around, Jesse has got the white pieces and Khadidja has got the black pieces. We are still looking at the last position of the previous game. It was an ugly finish over there with a lovely look at the dragon double attack, the dragon bishop on c5, hitting the king on g1, it's check, and it's an attack on the queen on a4. So that's the power of the dragon bishop, guys. And yeah, I think that's the main thing that the players need to actually watch out for and just do it is dragon tactics. Yeah. Um. So let's generate our new position. It's basically it's randomly done. So okay, we cannot take the same chess. This one. Flip it around. So I'm pretty sure we haven't had this one before. So yeah, I think this is okay. I just don't want exactly the same position for the same players. But if it happens again on another matchup, then I think it's okay. So a bit more on the crazy side, not the normal chess position. Are the players ready?
Yes.
Okay, good luck, ladies. You can mute your
Okay.
computers and then Jesse, you can start whenever you're ready. Okay, so e4 played, Henry. I don't know. With Fischer random, I've heard people say that you must always just keep in mind how you're gonna develop your queen. I see the queens on b1 and on b8. How do we get them into the game? Maybe c3 something.
Yeah, that's a good question, Calvin. I think c6 and c3 and c6 are good ideas. And I guess black that knight on d8 is also a little bit awkward, but maybe it just goes to e6.
e6, yeah. 6 and it looks flexible.
You can play kind of like a like a Kenny Solomon perk.
Yes.
Like a Philidor.
Yeah. I'm expecting the knight to go to e. Then again, you must watch out. So probably if the knight goes to e3 or e6, you should fianchetto your dragon bishop. Knight reaches e3, you must watch out for the d5 square and the f5 square. And Khadidja plays c6 immediately, protecting e5 with the queen, opening up a dragon bishop on c8, and also covering the d5 square. So a useful move.
Yeah, it's interesting how you want to avoid like making holes in your position because the knights can be very hard to get rid of.
Yeah.
But sort of like if black plays, so let's say knight e3 now for white, and if black answers g6, sure you're covering d5 and f5, but at the same time, suddenly d6, f6, h6 are also looking.
Yeah, but like there's cheese over this.
So yeah, it's always hard to sort of weigh because you can't immediately tell what the long-term effects will be. So it's very hard to make that decision just at the board.
Yeah. Okay, I guess that's the other thing. I mean, with chess, I think chess also teaches us a lot. Chess can be a lot similar to life. I mean, and I think chess also teaches you that you can't always have everything.
No.
You can't have all your bases covered at all times, especially early on in the game. I guess you have to make decisions. What's how strategies clashes.
And I like g6 here. I don't see sort of d6 or f6 being like an issue anytime soon. Whereas like f5 can become annoying very quickly.
You don't want the knight standing on f5, especially if you've castle. But okay, for this moment, the pawn is hanging on e4. Knight f5 doesn't do much because of g6 in some cases. So probably white needs to know. Why can I play d3? c3 is okay. Also.
Yeah, I expect c3.
Yeah.
Do you think black can sort of try to take over in the center by playing d5?
d5. I was looking at d5. Because I mean, if you play d5, white gonna go d3. Khadidja grabs it. 5.
Yeah. Khadidja is a very, she plays very true to herself, and she likes expanding and controlling the center.
Immediately applying pressure on white, asking white, are you gonna capture on d5 and give black the center? Are you gonna play d3? D3 just looks like not the type of move you want to play with the. But on the other hand, what can you do? Take on d5 and play d4. That's another option.
Yeah, the one thing, I think, it looks sort of, just looking at it very quickly, it looks like it's not an easy decision for white, because you're taking on d5, gives black that c6 square for the knight as well, which sort of, maybe I'm biased towards normal chess, but it feels more natural than e6.
Yeah. Okay.
d3 would have been also a bit passive.
Yeah. But okay, white took on d5. Big question now, what to do?
Bishop d4 is an idea.
Bishop b5 check is on the board. Dragon bishop b5. I think knight c6 looks very cool.
I think something that you mentioned earlier as well with the lance was sometimes moving the dragon out that early can be the bishop the dragon can become a target.
Yes. And after something like knight c6, black can eventually just end with a6. I feel like dragon d7 that was played right now, maybe it's white off the hook slightly. Not off the hook, but at least maybe black could have grabbed more or gotten more.
I don't understand how is she intending to recapture if white takes on d7.
It might be a slip.
Black might have thought that she can take back with the other bishop, with the other dragon. Yeah.
Now if you play knight takes, then d5 is hanging. Can one consider king takes? I think that was just a dragon slip. Let's not call it it's not a mouse slip, just a dragon slip. Because you can so easily think that the f8 dragon can capture, but Khadidja going into a bit of a think here is important. But okay, then again, Henry, pawns are not always that important in this game. Like the initiative is so important. We saw Lauren being an exchange down early on, and just just rolling over.
I think king safety is more important than a pawn.
Yeah, so knight takes
in this case
d7, knight takes d5, dragon out somewhere, you're ready to castle.
Yeah. Also, I think if you take with the king, I think queen f5 check sort of immediately picks up a pawn for white if she wants it. So I think just cut your losses and take on d7 with a knight.
Yeah.
But yeah, knight c6 definitely felt more logical than dragon to d7, especially you're developing the knight, and the dragon on b5 could be a potential target.
Yes, and what I was going to say, these pins are maybe not so useful. Okay, a pin is a pin, but later on, if black can castle, like it's not really that effective anymore for the dragon bishop to be eyeing the knight with less.
Yeah.
Okay, so Khadidja does the right decision over there. Knight takes d7. Sometimes you also just need to take a few seconds, just to psychologically adjust what has happened. Made a mistake. Yourself and then.
Yes, definitely. I think white should take on d5. Black black is dreaming about getting that pawn on e4.
Yes.
And getting that d3 square for one of the knights, probably the d7 one, going to c5 or e5 and then to d3. If black can accomplish that, then I would say she has enough compensation for sure.
Okay, so where to put the dragon bishop? e6 played. And I mean, if you just forget a moment that white is a pawn up, I don't mind the setup that black has. Castle, knight 6. And the game.
Yeah, I mean, white is a pawn up, but that pawn is a long time away from sort of, doing anything. So yeah, definitely we're going to have a nice game still ahead of us.
What should Jessie do next? Probably castle, and maybe she can either go passive and go d3, or maybe she can take it take things head on and play e4. But then again, that's why I think black probably put who can be. But you can't play e4. Castle, castle.
Yeah. I think
What
castle,
I do?
castle.
Could white go? Or could open
Yeah.
up.
Some knight g5.
Five
Looks
ideas.
cheap. Looks cheap. I don't think
But
it
after
does
g6,
anything.
knight e4.
Yeah, I think
Maybe it's not too much. Yeah.
yeah, I think it's a little bit too optimistic to hope you're going to checkmate black with
Oh.
just the queen. With the queen, not even the queen, right? The queen on b1, just the knight. But yeah, an important position for white. She sort of wants to consolidate here and, you know, not give black too much scope for the pawn.
Okay, knight g5 immediately played. So white is saying you're not going to castle because I'll mate you immediately. She's aiming at knight e4 perhaps. But is this maybe the right way to go if white is lacking in development?
Yeah.
Say black goes back to here. f5 square can be covered. Move like f5 possible. Isn't necessary. There might be some. But what is white threatening right now? Surely not knight takes h7. So,
No,
so what's the
I hope not.
ideas, I guess, to stop castling for the moment or to get the knight to e4? What if I go f5 now?
Yeah, I think the idea is to play knight e4.
And there we see f5 on the board.
Yeah,
Okay,
like I said before.
Yeah.
Khadidja definitely, she likes pawns in the center.
Expanding, yes. Yes.
So.
And I mean, it looks very nice. Only thing is that it does open up the king slightly. So moves like dragon to b3 seem to look at those light squares that have been opened up. The knight on d8 is covering all the light squares for now. The east. Okay. h6, of course, maybe an idea for black. We'll just try to close the whole idea of white playing knight.
Yeah, white. I mean, ideally, what black wants to do, if white just makes some non-committal move, then play h6, and then play e4, and then knight e5.
I think maybe that's now a huge threat. Maybe white overstepped here. If white doesn't, that's an important one. If white doesn't find anything,
it's possible she missed that the dragon on d6 defends the pawn on f5, possibly. Yeah, I mean, the dragon on d6 and the knight on d8, between the two of them, they really do a very good job of covering all the squares sort of close to black's king.
Yep.
Can white play d4 here?
Want to d4. What's the idea though?
I want to just control c5 and e5 to stop a black knight from jumping in.
And d4 is played. Okay, so
it's very, very double-edged. For example, if black castles, just castles, and sort of prepares that open file to get a rook on the e file. If white takes on e5, black takes back with a knight. Where is white's king going? Because it also looks very risky to go.
Castling.
Yeah. So I think black should definitely be happy with the way things have gone.
Yes. I think that maybe the early knight g5 was not what to do.
Definitely an interesting position that we have now.
But yeah, I like d4. d4 is at least fighting, giving black something to think about here.
Yeah, I think it's important to try and control c5 and e5. If black got e4 in and then a knight on e5 or c5, then that d3 square is a big problem. It would have been funny because Jesse had that knight on d3 in their first game. if black managed to Khadidja managed to get a knight on d3 in this game.
Yeah, definitely. So what's black's options here? H6 should probably be a candidate. Can you castle? Castle looks a bit unnecessary or what? After dragon to b3?
Yeah, I think I would like to castle, but it looks very dangerous. Castle is the move I want to play, but
What else? That's the question. If you don't castle, don't play h6. I can't really find a lot of other moves. I guess you can opt for playing e4 as well. It's e4, maybe h6 can kick the knight out more, h6, g5. But it feels like e4 will give white some stability. White can maybe even think about castling.
yeah, I want to castle and sort of
Last open the center.
I want to leave this option open of taking on d4 and sort of playing rook e8 check.
Yeah, h6 is played, by the way.
Okay, I would have. My feeling was it's maybe better to leave h6 sort of as a move that you can play when you really want to.
At the right moment, yeah. Okay, so white probably knight f3.
I think knight f3. Knight f3 and what is maybe black castles 10. I mean, it definitely feels safer to castle with a knight no longer on g5.
Yeah.
But I really feel black should either take on d4 and then castle or castle immediately. But one of those two.
Yeah, you feel a lot safer now castling in any event without the knight on g5. So I think definitely now.
Yeah. The other option that she might go for is to play e4. And e4 the knight moves, and then you sort of play something like castle and try to play f4 at some point.
Yeah, it also looks super scary for white. If black does play e4, I mean white doesn't want to castle into that.
Yeah.
And white still
also
needs to make a few moves on the queen side to castle long. Okay, it's interesting options. Here we have it. Like you said, Henry Khadidja stays through with the expanding. She continues rampaging down the center. That stabilized white's structure though, but black is saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not a bad decision. It's sort of like the only drawback that you have to e4. Yeah, you release the tension in the center, and potentially that f4 square could be a problem. But you could always address the. I mean, you could always consider playing g5.
Yeah.
Depending on what does.
Okay, the knight on d8 now can also start looking at ideas. And here you need 5. I really am struggling to see white castling.
Yeah, no. I think white wants to or should try to put the dragon on d3 on b3, move the queen to c2, and get that king.
Okay, knight h4 on the board. g6 is the square that's being eyed. Is the white maybe intending g3?
Can you trap that knight? So what happens if you just play g5 now?
5, g6, 8.
Rook g8.
That is a good question.
Khadidja isn't. She's definitely not a player who is afraid of like playing a move like g5.
Yeah. In fact, g5 would be consistent right now.
Yeah, it's definitely a move that she would consider. Potentially, if the knight ends up on g6, it could be annoying because it blocks the g pawn and it controls the f4 square. So it could be annoying. Yeah. Any other moves?
Seem like options here. Knight g6, 8. Nothing here. e5, I guess, takes and then. Yeah, then white is left with a knight on d5. But okay, then again, if you say give up the pawn on e5, let's say rook g8, knight e5, takes on e5, takes dragon, takes e5, but you still can't castle. how I wanted to say them, you just castle and theory.
Yeah, it's a. I think this game could finish very quickly, like very suddenly.
E5 is played.
Yeah.
I
The
think
one thing
White's
that I was
gonna.
thinking, the one thing I was thinking about now is, well, okay, it doesn't work. But I was thinking you can play knight g6, rook g8, knight e5, and if black plays knight takes knight, you could maybe consider throwing knight f6 check in first. But I don't think it's a good idea because
Those
even if you take
knights,
on g8,
knight
that
d3
knight
check.
will,
Yeah.
knight d3 check will you will not make you very happy.
I think White needs to go into this variation after knight takes e5, pawn takes e5, dragon b3. Hope
Yeah.
to get in queen c2 and long castle.
Yeah,
That's
and
only way out here.
yeah, and I don't think if white castles before black and sort of can open that d file and stop black from castling, then
Yeah.
black will also be. So it's very interesting. Sort of, black gave up the pawn and had this lead in development, and we thought like white's king might have a trouble finding a good place. Now white is giving back the pawn, but maybe black's king will be the one who is or becomes weaker now.
Yeah, I think maybe one of the key things in this game is how you push your pawns like so easily. Go too far.
Mm.
That's the because these all the pieces on the board are monsters. All of them are ready.
Calvin, do you think it's possible for black to play rook g8, knight e5, dragon takes e5? Is that possible?
It is possible, yeah, because then knight they're going to d3. White will probably have to give the dragon back up. Because I mean, okay, it's very interesting because after it takes and then knight takes e5, then white then say, okay, I'm gonna castle.
Yeah, looks
G4,
dangerous.
knight e4, if maybe not knight f4.
But at the same time, like if black does do that, white isn't that worried about the knight going to d3 because even if he exchanges his dragon, he will still be a pawn up at the end. So
maybe he'll be okay with that. Yeah.
I'm not sure what black is thinking about here, because if you play g5, surely you're expecting white to answer knight g6.
Okay, so rook g8 on the board finally.
Okay, knight e5 should be.
There's no funny business, no h4 or anything like that. I don't think so.
Also, can you play? I mean, two knights, not as good as the dragon, right? I mean,
I guess it depends.
Two knights stronger.
Two knights. I think if the two knights have some, maybe two knights and a pawn, or the two knights have some squares, I think they can definitely cause problems. Any piece.
Okay.
The
other option was to maybe put the knight on e7, but.
Oh yeah.
And then play dragon d3 at the end.
Yeah, why not knight e7? Knight e7 was the move. I think knight e7 was the move, yeah.
That's interesting, but
knight e7, I mean, the rook. Can you play rook g7? Just threaten to take the knights with the rook.
No, with the rook. Oh, that's also, yeah, there's knights.
Knights are tangled up over there. But maybe that would have given white some time to after rook g7, the dragon b3, you take everything on e7, maybe queen d1. I don't know. Knight f6 probably stops that.
Yeah, and I think like if the position remains closed, then black's all sort of like, I say closed. If the center sort of doesn't get blown open, then black's king is a little bit safer, or feels safer than she will after taking on e5.
Yeah, but okay, knight e5 is on the board, so now just deciding now.
Yeah, another interesting option. Okay, no, you can't. Yeah, you have to take on.
Knight e5 is the main choice. Attacking your dragon is interesting, but probably not the player's first intention. It's a new exciting game here. I mean, want to use the dragon bishop, but
something I was thinking about as also interesting maybe is to play knight takes e5, d takes e5, and then dragon c5.
Okay, but c1 dragon is still covering. But you're trying to get queen e5 in.
Yeah, I want to take on e5 with the queen, and also just sort of get that dragon on c1 just stuck that it can't move anywhere.
Rook G7 on the board.
Why?
I don't understand. Okay, so maybe she was fearing knight f6 check. So knight takes e5, knight f6 check. Knight takes e5, knight f6 check. Then you take on e5 first before taking the rook on g8.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point.
But okay, I still feel like the rook hanging completely.
You can defend it with the king, right? So you
Yeah.
can
I mean,
get
you
like
pick up a pawn and you center. I don't know.
but maybe the problem was if you go, let's say you went, you take on e5, d e5, knight f6 check, king f7, d e5. If you play bishop, yeah, okay, you can't. I thought
King
if
will
you take
take
on
the
e5, you
knight.
can play knight d7 and fork the queen and the dragon, but the dragon just takes it.
So interesting stuff there. So rook g7 was played, but now okay, knight takes d7, king takes d7. And the position all of a sudden got very crazy now. I feel like white needs to get the dragon out, like dragon b3, but queen c2 instead played.
I also think black should really move that knight on d8.
Yeah, the knight held the position together for a very long time, but I think it's time. Maybe knight e6.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's Jesse's plan here? Queen c2. Why queen a4 check doesn't look like it does too much, but maybe she just wants to play very simple. Dragon e2 puzzle. Maybe that's white's idea. Then it's gonna be like the black king might feel a bit uncomfortable in this.
Yeah.
And then the pawns on the king
Even
side
like,
might be thrown up, but I mean white king will be safe on the other side.
or like if knight e6, maybe white wants to just sort of play queen a4 check.
Yeah.
And then if like black will play b5, but then just move the queen back and say, okay,
Loosen
well
up
now
the
your king will never have a good square.
Okay, pawn to b6 play by Khadidja. So what's the idea? Queen b7? Hit the knight maybe?
Yeah, I guess. I'm not sure.
Because the queen on b7, okay, if once that happens, the knight moves, sometimes f4 is possible. She goes h4, so she wants to open up the h file. Yeah, I want that dragon bishop to be developed for interesting stuff.
I also I want some pieces to sort of get moved off of the starting squares.
Yeah.
Um,
Now it's interesting for black to decide. Can black play f4 here? Oh, I don't
e4.
know. I don't know why you want. I'm thinking of f4.
You can actually play f4, right? Because if he takes on e4 with the queen, rook e7 pins the queen, and if you take on e7 with the knight,
take the queen.
Then,
Yeah.
Then so interesting pins and counter pins and.
Okay, so but black does go queen b7 over here, hitting the knight. The knight needs to answer the question here.
I guess c4. Is there anything wrong with c4?
I think c4 should be. Otherwise, I think that queen b7.
Yeah.
Knight f6 check. Things are getting more crazy here. It looks like Jesse's knights has been running around the whole game here. King to e7.
Yeah,
Is the knight gonna go to h5?
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you take on g5? No, you play knight h5 first, right?
Yeah, probably knight h5, but the h takes g is immediately played. But now you can go knight h5 afterwards. There's no rook h7 because the dragon takes g5, so okay, it's all fine, yeah.
That's a
Knight
good point,
h5 probably, and then rook g8 or rook g6. And it's starting, like, if white gets in another tempo and he can get his king out of, then it's starting to look very risky for the black king in the center.
Yeah.
Is the rook h6 a possible? No, rook h6, knight f7, I guess.
Yeah, I think black would be happy to move that f8 at the 8 knight and do something useful with it in the game.
Okay, so knight h5 probably the move. Okay, so Jesse is on 6 minutes and 15 seconds. Khadidja is on 4 minutes 39 seconds. 15-second increment does help, so no need to panic yet with the time. But it has been in another messy tactical game here. Tactics, amazing how both playing in the game. I think you can get more tired. You can get tired more quickly with this PC30 because it's just calculation. I think we need to
Yeah.
get. I think we need to get Don Dragon on to play with the Dragon Bishops. So you'll calculate a lot.
Definitely, yeah.
So yeah, I'm not
I
sure.
remember.
Yeah, go ahead.
I remember the tournament that we played, where we played 6 games on one day.
Yeah.
And then by the last game, I was finished. I didn't want to. It was very, very hard.
So it's exercise for the brain. Knight h5, rook g6 on the board. I guess you want to leave the option for the other rook to go to h8. Possible.
Yeah, I think Black wants to really play knight e6 next, and then
knight e6 holds g5, keeps an eye on the f4 square, covers the king. Knight e6 definitely.
and White should move the bishop, the dragon out to e2 or to d2 or to e3.
Lots and lots of options here. Probably I would go to e2. White squares seem a bit open on the f1 a6 diagonal. I don't know if you can do much with it, but I mean, putting the bishop on e3 just seems like you're asking for f4 at some point.
Yeah.
On d2 on the other hand,
just if it looks tempting to it looks like my idea is sort of to tempt Black to play f4, and then you can slide the dragon over to g4.
Yeah. Okay, knight g3. I think Jesse just completely forgot about that c1 dragon. But maybe dragon on d2 would have been interesting as well with some g4 ideas. Eyeing that if Khadidja deciding on knight f7. We are not predicting moves here.
Yeah. But I think I mean knight g3 did have the benefit that if knight e6, then knight takes f5 check. Because obviously Black would love to play knight e6, knight f4.
Right, yeah. So knight e6 would block the dragon bishop. So no, Jesse actually on point there. I must admit, I kind of like the knight on h5 because I was thinking dragon d2 with a possible g4 at some point.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm looking for trouble there because takes on f5 could allow the dragon to get onto f5 and just chaos.
Yeah, I don't see like a great future for the knight on g3. But at the same time, Black. I mean, Black sort of wants to use this 3 against 2 majority that she has on the king side. But touching one of those pawns is so dangerous at the moment with her king on e7. So Black really needs to solve the problem of her king. If she can find a safe place for the king, she can get some counterplay with f4, potentially.
Rook c8 is played here. Okay, but still, even if white long castles, dragon b4 is not worth it, because you just take the dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rook h7 played. And yeah, you're right. The problem is I guess the main problem for Black.
Yeah, Black's king is.
But remember, the dragon bishop is covering the knight on f7 as well for now. I guess he needs to perform more than one thing now. It would have been so nice if the black king is on b8. Take too much time, eh?
Yeah, if you could move the king to b8 or to a8, I think Black would be completely fine.
Yeah, I like this move. Queen d5, centralizing, covering f5, covering f, and also eyeing a2 just in case long card.
Yes, that's a nice move.
Like queen d5. Question is now, what should Jessie do? She can't long cast. Really? Is it
Yeah,
Or was it a misstep by Jesse? Should Jesse have not just long castle?
possibly. This queen d5 move is very annoying.
Queen d5 is quite nice. Stop c4 as well. Or maybe it doesn't stop c4. Okay, d4 will be hanging. c4. No. Black has got 3
You
pieces.
It's interesting because you could potentially play c4. You take with the rook, I guess.
Yeah. But c4 then queen takes d4.
Yeah,
as well.
it's a simple answer. Yeah.
Queen b3, so Jesse wants to just swap off and use an extra pawn.
But I think black should be happy with the trade of queens.
So takes, and then, I mean, bishop takes, dragon takes, b3 is possible, or a takes. A takes also looks tempting because a7 will be hanging.
Yeah, you can take with the dragon. I did not consider that.
What option does black have? Could play rook c4, but how long can the rook stay there? So if you really want to not swap.
Yeah, it seems a bit risky.
So black decides to swap off, and immediately a takes b3, a7 is hanging. And I've been talking my hat off here about not reaching endgames, Henry, and finally we get an endgame. And okay, white is 1 pawn up, but sorry, an interesting endgame. The board.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I'm not sure about a5. Depends on if white can play b4 now or not.
Like b4 is on the board.
Yeah, because if you take rook a7,
rook c7.
Yeah, take and f5 is hanging.
And f5 is hanging, yeah. But can you maybe just allow that and then take on c3, take on c3, and the e4 is now also hanging, yeah.
Yeah.
e4, nice looking move. But can't you play f4 right now? But e4 still, e4 is being attacked twice.
Yes.
But
okay,
f4,
position.
f4 takes on e4, rook 6, and f3.
Okay.
Then you take on b4.
Still seems very, very risky. I feel like it's not going to end well for black.
Black is under pressure right now. a5 is hanging.
Can you play something like rook a8? That's also
just to try and hold.
Yeah, it's tricky because this dragon is coming to b3 as well. Hitting f7, hitting a5.
Rook a8 is on the board.
Yeah, and I think taking and playing dragon b3 is pretty good for white.
Okay, do you even have to take like that?
You can leave it like that. Okay, maybe if okay, can't. I was gonna say maybe you can after dragon b3 you can play f4, but then there's this nice tactic. You can play knight f5 check.
Dragon takes and then okay.
Take on f7 and then take on f5.
Yeah. Okay, so black opts now for rook takes a5 after ba.
I think it's good. I think exchanging rooks removes some of the pressure.
Yeah, so swapping off and then dragon b3 hitting and
rook f6 looks very ugly.
6 and then
yeah, or even dragon d5.
Oh.
And it's like black can't like move any of the pieces almost. You know, with knight h5 coming in.
Yeah, so that pin on the 7th rank is turning out to be a very nasty pin.
King f8 maybe.
F8 rook. Oh, okay, your dragon still covering. King f8. Dragon takes a5.
And then play f4.
And f4, yeah, then we go for initiative.
Yeah, there's nothing left to do. But yeah, Jesse's played this game pretty well.
Yeah, very
like, Black's been under a lot of pressure the whole game. It doesn't feel like Black's had any sort of like easy moves to make.
Yeah. And in fact, that knight on g3, I mean, it's turning out to be that's just holding black or tying black down for half of the game.
Okay, maybe the problem with king f8 is knight takes f5 again.
Oof.
So can't even do that. So what to do? Rook f6 almost feels like an only move.
Rook h6 played.
Rook h6.
Okay. So I'm sure white would be okay with just popping off. But can't you play rook takes f7 check? Dragon takes f7, knight takes f5 check.
Yeah. Or knight takes
Knight
f5
takes f5
first, right?
immediately happens. Takes f5 immediately happens. And it's forking the king and the dragon. Dragon takes f5. Rook takes f7 check. And yeah, Jesse found a very nice maneuver over the tactic.
It's game over.
Yeah, and the dragon up and the pawn, 2 pawns.
Then
Like this is it. Okay, right, and resignation. So tough one there for Khadidja. Let's see if we can get the players on. Hi, can you guys hear us?
Hi, nice played.
Good game.
Very entertaining game, ladies. Wow, up and down, up and down. Nice tactic there at the end, Jesse. So maybe to you first, Jesse. Okay, just a comment like from this game. Your knights were working for you in this game. What's your thoughts on the game? Was this all planned with the knights? I mean, I think that both knights reached h5.
Yeah, I don't know what I was doing with my knights. A lot would call, many people would refer to as dancing knights. No, it's all prep up till like move 25. I'm just joking. No, no, I honestly don't think I played very well in the opening. But
me more. I think it was a horrible opening as well for me because I blended the pawn early in the game. I did not see that pawn. I miscalculated that the bishop can't take back.
Yes.
The dragon can't take back because there is no opening, because my thought was like, I take with the bishop, with the dragon is out, and that looks good. But I missed that one.
Yeah, that was a mistake. But you made it. You made a mistake, but you made it look good because it seemed like you had a vicious attack going over there. I don't know, Henry. What do you think? Where do you think? I mean, it's so difficult to put your finger on what could have happened. Is g5? What's g5 maybe too much? Should black have just castled or something?
I think g5 was still okay. I'm not sure. Could black have taken on e5 and taken the pawn back?
Oh,
there was a check. There was a check and gets the rook now.
Yeah, but maybe it's better to just sacrifice that exchange.
Yeah, I thought so. But then I said I keep like the pressure there and see what can happen.
I think the problem for black, or for both sides, but in the end I think it was worse for black. It was the king was under a lot of pressure. Like black couldn't solve the problem of what to do with the king in the middle of the board, and then white opened the h file and the rook h7, and black just under too much pressure.
I didn't actually know what to do with my queen because it's stuck on b1, and I really wanted to be on the d1 diagonal, and I didn't know what to do.
I was mentioning that at the beginning of the game. Like sometimes we have this issue of just getting your queen out is a random like. But yeah, you did well there, Jesse, with the h4 and opening up the h file. And at one point, I was like thinking that if I had the white position, I would. King didn't seem like you had a safe spot for your king. Eventually, the queen side seemed to. Like you didn't castle the whole game, eh? Yeah. So yeah, but the crazy game, I think, like I mean, both sides had their chances. Maybe a unfortunate misstep there by you, Khadidja, with the. I mean, it was a dragon blunder. I told Henry, it's we've seen a couple of dragon blunders all about recognizing the dragon tactics, but a very entertaining game. Well done, the both of you. So I think it's 1-1 between the two of you for the day.
Thank you for all the games.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, ladies. And yeah, I think we have 2 more matches left for the day, guys. And yeah, so everybody's still playing a game, but we're gonna swap opponents. So stick around. We're gonna have an hour break. Then after the hour, we'll. But everybody's still playing. Stick around. We'll. So also, I want to just thank Henry for joining today. Henry has also done a lot for this game as well. He's been on the show before. He's played in the first event as well. So, yeah, it's always good having Henry on the show and comment. So yeah, thanks everyone, and we'll see you guys later. See you guys.
Okay,
Thank
bye-bye.
you. Bye.